Hi friends, it's Lauren Taylor. Thanks for joining me in my craft room. I'm so grateful to have you here. It's the last day of the month, so it's time for some Halloween fun. The Trick or Treat and Spooky stamp sets from scrapbook.com have recently released their coordinating die, so I wanted to use them today. I also have my white and black mixed media paper pad. I'm going to be using the white polka dots from the black and white rub-on transfers. And I know this is a summer pad. We're going Summerween today, but I'm going to pick out a few of these different pattern papers from the Sunkissed 6x8 paper pad. I'm going to use this yellow kind of diamond pattern paper, a piece of purple paper, and I'm going to use some of the black mixed media cardstock, and then I will decide pretty soon here to grab one more design from the pattern paper. I think it's a plaid color. I want to say it's not gingham and it's not like tartan, right? So it's just a plaid. It's plaid. It reminds me of the summer that every dad at Disney wore plaid shorts. That's that's the vibe it's giving me. But I like the colors. They still are. They're just like pastel Halloween. It's like pink and green and yellow and orange and purple. So I love the pastel vibes it's giving. Like I said, we're going for a Summerween card today. And I ran all of these different papers through the Bold Curves A2 plate from scrapbook.com. Everything I'm using here you can get from scrapbook.com or is most likely an exclusive. And I'm just creating a pattern from the different papers I have. And then I will add a little bit of inky detail, and I'm going to add the white transfer rub-ons onto that black stripe that I have in the middle of my pattern here. So I'm going to do that first, and I'm going to use my little Scout machine to apply the transfer on. So I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to just cut a piece of this transfer that will fit across my little curvy stripe here. And I'm going to just cut it down with these large scissors. I cut the backing along with the transfer sheet so I can sandwich my piece of cardstock when I run it through my machine. So basically I'm going to pretend like I'm die cutting, but there's no die. I'm just going to use the pressure of my machine to apply all of those tiny little dots onto my paper. Now you could definitely do this with the popsicle stick that comes with the transfers, or maybe you have a tool. But when you have this many little tiny dots, I think running it through a die cutting machine is like the perfect thing. Now you'll notice here that I have a magic mat instead of a plate. Yes, I did cut one of my standard magic mats in half to run with my Scout machine until scrapbook.com comes out with their magic mat in that size. So if you have quite a few magic mats like I do, you can definitely cut it in half until you're able to get one that fits nicely for the size of the Scout. Okay, so now I have all of my pieces ready. I have an A2 card base. It's top folding just out of some sturdy Nina cardstock. And I wanted to add a little bit of texture to the other pieces, the pattern paper. So I grabbed some Simon Hurley ink pads, and I'm using Crown Me with the purple, Overzealous with the plaid, and Slippery When Wet on that yellow piece, just to add a little shading, a little texture to the different stripes. You definitely don't have to do that if you're recreating this card. And then I'm just going to follow the pattern with some tape runner here and apply these pieces to my card base, starting with the one that's closest to the score line. So that way when I get to the end, which I will have to do, trim off any excess white cardstock that shows. Now I will say I've been having trouble filming lately. This is my second video. My other one will be out later because it was for Pretty Pink Posh. Where my phone, I usually use my iPhone. I have a, the newest one. I don't know what it is anymore. To film because it has a really great 4K quality, but it just stopped filming, and it's above my head while I'm filming, and I didn't notice that it stopped. So I apologize. You're not going to see me coloring and adding my images to my card, and I'm so sorry about that. But I'll walk you through what I've done. So I'm using the two stamp sets. I have Spooky and Trick or Treat, and I'm picking out images that I think would make a really cute kind of like ghost witchy scene and the happy Halloween sentiment. And I'm going to grab a sheet of my white mixed media, and I'm going to use my Misty to stamp all of these images. I'm going to stamp them with VersaFine and Onyx Black. I think it's currently sold out at scrapbook.com, but you can use I think it's Nocturne. It's basically the same thing to stamp as well. And I'm going to watercolor with my Zig clean brush markers. They're like watercolor markers. And so I'm going to emboss these images. So I stamped it with the VersaFine and Onyx Black so that way I could use a clear embossing powder. This is a detailed clear embossing powder all over the images, and then I will use my heat gun to melt all of that powder down, and that way it just creates nice little wells for me to paint in. I don't have to worry about going out of the lines as normally I do when I do coloring. So here is how my card turned out. You can see I just did some very basic simple coloring on the images and then used the coordinating dies to cut them out. I popped them up with some 2mm foam rounds from scrapbook.com foam adhesive, and then I added some black gloss pops of color just kind of in a diagonal across the card. But if you have any questions about what I did, let me know. I just hope this brings a little smile to your face, and if you're getting in the Summerween spirit, maybe a little inspiration on the color palette for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!